Hey folks, how's it going? We're in here today to look at another mod, intentionally for TS, Tiberian Sun, but it's actually built on the Yuri's Revenge engine. What does this mean? Well, it means to run it, you need to own a copy of Yuri's Revenge, and to actually get this set up and running, all you have to do is download the mod from the ModDB page, which I'll link below, and copy and paste it into your Yuri's Revenge directory, and being sure to overwrite the relevant files. And then once you launch Yuri's Revenge, it should pop up okay for you. But yeah, what is this mod? As it says here, it's a visual novel that shows another dimension of Tiberian Sun. It has traditional campaigns and multiple endings. Choose the destiny for the special one. So it's quite a little bit different to the other mods that we checked out for Tiberian Sun / Yuri's Revenge. They've obviously gone down the more anime route, which is definitely a choice. In terms of the assets and stuff that I've seen up on their page, they have some unique icons and voxels from the looks of it for their specific structures. They do seem to have a version of reshade enabled or being tested. It's kind of cool. They have a whole bunch of anime art assets, loads of cool splash screens. They have a fully fledged single player campaign, which is quite nice. It's 7 missions in length with, I believe, 3 alternate endings, which they outline here. So in the actual game, as we'll see in a second, when you're going through the single player, you can choose which mission to play, and these are all the ones that are accessible. There is also a download accessible via this ModDB link, where it is this just executable where you can flick through just the cutscenes. It's a nice little addition for people who just want to see the anime side of it. I'm more curious to have a look at the full package, so we'll see. But you do also unlock the ability to view these individual missions after you've done, or these individual cutscenes after you've done the missions and unlock them. So that's kind of like a nice little progression thing that they've put into it. Worth noting that this is developed across Chinese and English. I believe it was primarily built in Chinese and then translated to English, which kind of makes sense for the visual novel genre. A whole bunch of details and stuff on here that you can check out if you want to get up and running with it. It's very straightforward. I had no issues with it, so hopefully you should too. I'm only testing the English version here, not the Chinese version, because I don't speak Chinese, Mandarin. But one of the key things up on this page that might be of interest to you, if you are thinking of testing out this mod, is this one, the difference between the commanders and the skirmish. So this mod actually enables you to have, I think it's 6 different factions in the skirmish settings, and we're going to be checking out each one, having a look at how they play. But it doesn't tell you in game the individual bonus differences between the units, so there's a good overview of it here. So just to briefly spend a couple of minutes going through it, so it's all here for your information. But again, I'll leave this link below too. Steel Talons, Commander Dugan, so they kind of assign a specific commander to each faction in this mod, which is interesting. Steel Talons, using the best heavy mechanized walkers at GDI, so they get an attribute bonus, vehicles plus 20% armor. And Juggernauts apparently start as veterans. It's kind of a cool idea. Then in terms of unique units, they can access the Titans and the Mammoth Mark II. In terms of supports, it gets Force Armor, which is installed to the Tech Center, Vehicle Armor plus 100 for a period of time, and then they get Titanfall, installed to Tech Center, deploys 4 Titans. So that's quite a lot of variation. Then the Iron Cavalry 27, Commander MacWolf, good name. Can deploy tanks faster, attribute bonuses, vehicle build time minus, infantry training time plus. Mammoth tank start as veterans. Unique units: Predator tank, Wolf Vulcan tank, Stegodon tank. Supports: Mysterious mobile phone, installed to Tech Center, deploys 3 Predators and 2 Wolves. ZOCOM, Commander Jerry. ZOCOM is highly protective infantry and supporting vehicles. Attribute bonus: infantry plus 50% armor. Light infantry starts as veterans. Unique units: the Hover Sonic System, a Rocket Amphibious APC, Zone Trooper, and the Mobile Iron Fortress as an epic unit. Supports: heavy supports, installs the Tech Center, deploys 3 Zone Troopers. Flame of Darkness is Commander Obelisk. Flame of Darkness focuses on base defense and laser weapons. Attribute bonus: defensive structure build time minus, defensive structure armor plus. Defensive structures consume less power. Defensive structures have independent power supplies, and they can work normally even if the base is below power. Unique units: Obelisk of Darkness, that sounds interesting. Avatar. Supports: EMP Stealth Mine. Blackhand, Commander Stromberg. It's good at stealth, subterranean technologies. Attribute bonus: income of Tiberium plus 10. Spencer Mobile Artillery, Stealth Tank, and Devil's Tongue start as veterans. No cyborgs. Unique units: Confessor, Blackhand Sniper, Shadow Team, High Confessor, Commando Rookie. Supports, Bounty, Cloaking Field, pretty cool. Then Hannah Cabal, Paladin Azra. Hannah Cabal is terrifying cyborg units, attribute bonus, infantry training time, -20. Rocket infantries are cyborgs, cyborg commandos start as veterans, unique units, Tiberian Trooper, Cyborg Templar, Light Infantry Clone. Supports, Redemption, install Tech Center, transforms infantry into cyborgs. So there's actually quite a lot in here in terms of the variation between these different factions, which can make for some interesting matchups, I am certain. And we're going to indeed check that out. So let me go and launch the game. I'm going to have a look at how it all seems. Again, you do need to own the base Yuri's Revenge to run this, but here we are. So once you have it set up and installed, this is the overhaul to your whole game executable. A couple things, going to options here. I'm playing on 1280 by 720, tends to be the general resolution I use for looking at these mods because of the size of the units. It tends to be a lot more easy to show off the visual effects of them and the voxels at that more zoomed in resolution, but you can go up to 1920 by 1080 and beyond, I believe. Yeah, so it goes up to 2715 by 1527. Looking at all details on high, I'm probably going to try play on normal. We'll see how it goes. And then of course you've got keyboard bindings, as this is a Yuri's Revenge. Remember, it's easy to kind of forget that this is in the Yuri's Revenge engine because it's like Tiberian Sun based assets. But you've got control, development, information, interface, selection, taunt, team. So all the kind of useful stuff. You can remap these. I haven't gone in and looked at most of the key bindings already. We're just going to kind of wing this and see how it handles. Under a single player, you've got a couple options: story mode and the skirmish. We're going to look at the skirmish stuff probably first, just to show off each faction, and then go into the story mode. So let's do that before we get there. So skirmish. Alright, so what we have here is kind of a very standard skirmish selection screen. The biggest difference, I guess, that stands out from this is that you've got the anime characters beside the name of the factions, and this of course will change as you flip between them. And as you play through the story, you'll get to know who these various characters are and why they're associated with the factions, is at least my assumption. We're going to play through each of these. Again, we ran through that list of all the variations between the different factions, but we're just going to play them and see how they handle. We'll vary the colors a little bit here and there, why not? But we'll start with Steel Talons versus the AI's Hannah Cabal. I have no idea the difficulty of these opponents, so we shall see. You can set it here in terms of their behavior. So there's no player in the slot. Turtle, be more defensive, balanced. Use strike forces in normal numbers when assaulting, and Steamroller will prefer to accumulate large units. So there is some modifications to the AI here, which is pretty cool. In terms of the maps available, Dueling Islands is kind of a classic Tib Sun map. I've seen this in a lot of mods. They all float. Tires of Sorrow, Reswamp, so you can have a brief look. Twin Peaks is another classic. Green Forest, Grand Canyon, Grassy Knoll, of course, is another one that I've seen across a lot of mods. Yeah, there's a good few modifications here. Interesting to see Tib Garden Redux. It's a fan favorite across the older Tiberian games. Second Tour of Egypt, Hexstream. So a lot of these maps will like to look familiar to you. I'm not too certain if this mod has added brand new maps for the purposes of multiplayer, or if it's just ported across a bunch of them. But we'll start with Dueling Islands anyway, and we'll get into it. See how it handles. In terms of teams, it doesn't really matter because it's a 1 versus 1. Short game, MCV repacks, crates appears, super weapons, be kind of cool to see. Credits. What I might do, just for the sake of showing this stuff off, is bump the credits up quite a high amount. Just so we have the cash up front to be able to build a bunch of stuff and show it off without having to worry too much about the finer details. Obviously, when you're playing, your credits are going to be a bit lower. Yeah. start game. They have this splash screen art, which actually looks quite nice, I actually think. I am slightly biased. I do occasionally watch anime, but it fits the aesthetic pretty well for what they're trying to go for here. Let's go. So there's our MCV unit. We have to access the Titans, which I believe was this faction's unique unit. Access the GDI power plants, GDI barracks. I think, if I know this map, there should be a blue tib field back there. And there's a broken, I think there's like a broken bridge here, and then the way to get to your opponent is down through this ramp and over this way. Again, the map's been on quite a few mods. This bridge is indeed broken, which is cool. So we've got first refinery up. Again, aesthetically, it looks very much like Tib Sun. The fact it's running in Yuri's Revenge is only evident because you have access to these quick keys, and you can switch between your primary structure, defensive structure, and infantry. Infantry for this faction looks like light infantry, disc throwers, engineers, and medic. Defensive structures, they include towers in here for defensive purposes, so you can actually get a Vulcan tower or RPG tower. They let you put silos in the defensive slot, which is also quite nice of them. In terms of vehicles, you can get harvesters, Wolverines. Oh Jesus. We can get some Wolverines down. Hopefully not die here. What the hell? What's this? What's this? What is this? You kidding me? Wow. Alright, we'll restart that. That was a little bit intense for a regular balance difficulty. Not quite sure why he was able to spam all that, but we'll go again. This time hopefully we'll be able to show off the faction a bit more. Okay, no messing around. We'll go one ref. I think this time we spawn on the top right, so a little bit different. This. So keep all of our units here. We might send one scout out.
This way, rifle squad. Reporting in. Understood.
We'll get this, then we'll get the war factory up.
Reporting in. Construction complete. Move out.
By war factory, of course, you have to get the radar first, or the racks first. And then we need to get the radar. I'm gonna spam a bunch of infantry, just considering how much you came at me with last time. RPG tower, I guess, would be good to put up here. Okay, get more power. Cool, it's one RPG, we'll get extra power. Build a couple of Wolverines, a couple of Titans. Get a second RPG tower up. Looks good to me. I have no idea what the AI behavior is like, so I guess we'll get a sand battery. A couple of Wolverines here to deal with infantry if they come our way. I'll put the sand battery here. Again, assets look fairly similar to the base game. The thing that looks the most different is the cameo icons in the sidebar. We got a radar. Radar gives us extra units. So now we can get the hover MLRS. Since we have Titans, we'll get a couple of those instead. Get ourselves another power plant. We'll get a second refinery before we run out of cash. We seem to be holding this a little bit better. The tick tanks there from the mod player look kind of cool. Custom asset. Here's our hover MLRS. This does look quite different. Could just be the pallet though. Interesting. So there's the hover MLRS. Get that down. GDI helipad, I suppose, is next. There are jump jet infantries. We'll check those out. Now with the hover pad, we can get an Orca fighter, Orca transport, and Orca carry-all. GDI tech center next. So here's the jump jets. Looks like these stay permanently up in the air, so they don't do the land mechanic that you would normally expect in Tib Sun. Usually these would take off and drop down, but the behavior of that can be less than ideal, so I guess the mod creators decided, or might even have been limited when they switched to the Yuri's Revenge engine to do something a bit different. What else? We got Juggernauts 2200, very expensive. We'll just get one of these. Disruptor 1800, Mammoth Tank 2400. The Mammoth Tank Mark II is the believed super unit of this specific subfaction, which explains why it costs that much. It's kind of pricey. Here's the Juggernaut, interesting looking model. You can see that he's come out promoted. Again, it's a faction perk, but it doesn't tell you in the sidebar that that's the case. It's a little bit unfortunate in that case, but that's the way it goes. There's the Disruptor. I don't seem to be able to deploy the Juggernaut, so he just stays undeployed. The Disruptor I'd expect to be fairly standard. Yep. All looking good so far.
Unit ready.
So we'll send these across, see what happens. I can hear some stealth stuff going on over here.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Alright. Here's our Orca transport. Here's our actual Orca.
All systems go. Orca here. Release the rockets. Yes, sir. Ready for orders.
And it looks like the Orca auto regenerates its ammo over time. It doesn't need to redock to pick it up. It's interesting, interesting alteration. Here's the Mammoth Mark II.
Peerless. I'll clear the way.
Building. On hold.
We'll get ourselves an Orca bomber as well.
I'll clear the way.
That's pretty cool. Custom voice acting by the sounds of it. Has its standard rail cannon. That all looks good. You can build a railgun in the tower. We'll try that out. What else we got? Tech support, vehicle armor plus 100. So you have to pay for these sort of upgrades. I guess we go for the Titanfall. These all go on the tech center, which we will suss out in a second. I have emergency repair capability here. Partially repairs vehicles, effective immediately. That's kind of a cool, cool faction bonus, I guess. Iron Cannon Control Center, we want to get that up. The Titanfall Center, this goes on to the Tech Center. So here, doesn't have any visual impact here, so it's a bit hard to tell it specifically for that, other than the name, obviously. Where does that fall under? Under here, so I can have access to the Titanfall drop in there. Orca Bomber, looks like I can only have one of these as well.
Discharging munitions.
There is an action, fair enough. And it does have to dock to recharge. What else do we need to check here? Disruptor, sensor. Sensor array is probably worth picking up against Nod. They might have some stout units. Is there an Iron Cannon? You can see it's giving you the Iron Cannon detector on the bottom left. Again, this being in the Yuri's Revenge engine, that's not too unexpected. Looks like they don't have the default GDI power plant upgrades. Power turbines. They have this. I guess this is what their replacement for it is. Yeah, that'll do. Cool. So they do have that. What else? What else are we missing? They don't let you rebuild the Titanfall because you already have it. Drop pods, though, I would like to pick up. Emergency repair, again, can do it here. It's pretty satisfying. Drop pods, again, has to go on the tech center structure. And we'll get the force armor as well, since we're here. That would be the opponent's super weapon. Surprised it didn't show up as the ability on the cooler down here, but that's fair enough. It's pretty cool. It's scary when you don't know what the hell is going on. Firestorm generator, as would be as you would expect, right? Commando Rock. Supposed to be your commando unit. We'll check it out. Titanfall here deploys 4 Titans. You can only put it in positions you have vision on, which makes sense. So here's our 4 Titans. That's pretty cool. I mean, the drop pod mechanic isn't like a brand new idea to these sorts of mods, but like when you pair it up with like emergency repair ability with your like 4-drop titans, I'm guessing it could be hella effective. I seem to be able to reach all the way over here with it as well, so that's pretty cool. I think what I'll get here is a bunch of juggernauts, a bunch of disruptors, and then maybe try move out to get the enemy. Not going to spend too much time. Won't necessarily go through a full match with each one of these skirmishes. We just want to show off the individual factions. Here's the Hunter Seeker, kind of the more traditional unit you would expect, and then we'll see how effective the Iron Cannon actually is. It looks like against this particular opponent I want to be careful of that super weapon that turns the infantry into what look like cyborgs, so it's kind of very similar to the Yuri's ability from Red Alert 2, Yuri's Revenge. Drop pods, again, you can only put these in positions you have vision on. What they do give you access to promoted units. Didn't last very long, it's pretty good. Force armor, we'll see what the aesthetic on this is. So you can see they all have a little icon here indicating they have the force armor. I suspect that this will not go on permanently, it will wear out over time. What else? We have all of this. We have used the majority of these. Iron Cannon will be the next one to look out for. Stealth unit detected. Looks like crates are on by default too. It's kind of nice. What else we got? So far so good. Mobile War Factory is down as a vehicle, so it's your Fist and Nod, which you'd be familiar with if you've played other mods. And we do have our Iron Cannon now, so let's see how effective it is. I guess we'll go against the War Factory. It's pretty effective. I would question the balance of that in a multiplayer setting, but that's fair enough. And then what we might just do is spam a bunch of Titans and do the classic rollout for GDI. We'll try get a couple of extra War Factories up to speed up production speed. What's so far? It seems pretty good. It's a good couple of custom units. The fact that the Orca doesn't need to auto reload its ammo is pretty good. Apart from that, it's pretty effective that the bomber needs to reload as expected. However, it does seem to have a limit of 1 for the faction because it's so effective, which is cool. Same with the Mammoth Mark II, you can only build 1 at a time. All pretty cool effects. Get the emergency repair in here. It's a nice, I actually kind of like the idea of the emergency repair. It's a good ability to incentivize you to have it, or to choose the faction if it's faction exclusive. And of course it seems that because they've enabled Titans to be accessible by this faction, it won't necessarily be accessible to all GDI factions, so there is that element to it as well. I need to be careful about selecting my harvester with the rest of my army here. It's pretty good. We're going to camp the Tiberium over here.
Select target.
Drop pods. I seem to have picked up a crate that gave me vision of the whole base, of the whole map too, which is sweet. Force armor. You can do Titanfall like here. It's pretty nice. Could also do the Titanfall right up here against the actual defensive structures and be able to take them out much easier. Cyborg Commando here, it looks like. Again, it's a first real look at what the Nod faction is. Don't see anything too massively different. They have the cyber commandos, they have the standard cyborgs, and a few other bits and pieces.
What you got? About time.
Taking that out.
Let's keep it safe, guys.
Stealth unit detected. Stealth unit detected.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to see from this faction. We're going to pop out and take a look at
Battle control terminated.
one of the other factions next. Alright, so that was Steel Talons. Next up we'll take a look at ZOCOM versus Black Hand. Use a different color. Why not? Bit of purple. We'll change the map up a little bit. We don't want a huge map. I guess we'll try Tears of Sorrow. Looks fairly decent. We'll pop in and give this one a whirl. Here we have Commander Jerry. Again, pretty cool aesthetic. Nice splash screens. This faction, unlike the last one, won't have access to Titans, it looks like. Instead we get the hoversonic system, which look kind of like hover disruptors a little bit. We get the GDI power plant. Again, the key thing here is that we don't get absolutely destroyed by the AI from the start. So we want to be a little bit quick off the mark here. Also looks like we start off with auto promoted infantry, so that must be one of the faction bonuses. We're on the top left side of the map at the moment, so I guess they'll come from this side. Get this down, get the war factory, so they'll probably try attack us from here, right? So we want to keep our units over this side while also exploring over here.
Construction complete.
Okay, the war factory's down, so we have hoversonic systems instead of the Titans, which is fair enough. With the RPG system. Vein holes on the map, not attackable though, so these look like they haven't really been implemented yet in the mod. So they're more for aesthetics than functionality, which is also totally fine. While they continue to work on it. Again, if the mod is not expected to have that kind of functionality in it, then it's fair enough that they wouldn't include it in the skirmishes. And again, because they're porting it to the Yuri's Revenge engine, it's a lot of extra overhead for them to do it. So I can understand totally why it wouldn't be a priority for them.
Construction complete.
This looks good.
Construction options.
We're doing okay. We have light infantry, engineers, destroyers, jump jet infantry, medics again. So it seems like a standard GDI roster depending on your faction. There. I guess the key difference, I guess we'll test it, is that these light infantry are promoted by default. Destroyers aren't. So it's just the light infantry it looks like for that. GDI helipad, we'll throw that down. See if we get anything special. Again, Orca fighters, Orca transports, Orca carryalls, so that's all very much the same. Get some hover MRSs, get some destroyers while we're waiting. GDI tech center. Crates again. It's removed all of my vision. Awesome. Love that from a crate. GI, heavy supports. Deploys 3 zone troopers. Oh, they get access to zone troopers, right. These are 1800 and their commando is 2000, similar to the other GDI faction. 2000 seems very expensive for a unit. In terms of our vehicles, the only key different one so far is the sonic system. You can get disruptors, juggernauts, mammoth tanks again. This seems different, a mobile armed fortress. It seems to be their unique unit instead of a mammoth tank Mark II. So we'll try and get one of those down. Heavy supports, we'll add that there. Remember, I'm playing this with the starting cache turned up, so you won't necessarily be able to tech up this quick if you're playing this mod yourself. It's more just for demonstration purposes.
What's the call?
So here's the zone
Time to
troopers.
go. Pin him down.
Seem like kind of like ghost stalkers.
We're on it.
That's
So
right.
that seems pretty pretty cool.
Let's
Unit
light
ready.
them up.
So railgun tower,
Building.
nice custom asset. Again, it seems like they fire pretty similarly to the zone stuff. Zone troopers. What else? Iron
Building.
cannon control. That's what we want. And I guess a bunch of mammoth tanks is probably good. We'll see how effective they are in this mod.
Fully shielded.
Here's the what's it called again? The mobile
Who
iron
needs a jump?
fortress.
Moving out.
I wonder if I can, if I load this with infantry, if the infantry will shoot
Let's
outside of it.
light them up. I'll get
One way to find out.
Reporting in.
Troopers
This way, rifle squad.
Otherwise, it's just going to be a pretty heavy and expensive MCV.
Yes, sir.
Let's light
That
them
is
up.
confused by its pathing. Get in there, boys.
Construction complete.
It'll all soon be over. Light them up.
Okay, yeah, so that works kind of as expected. Your mobile iron fortress can just have infantry inside of it.
Securing area.
And when you've got that many kinds of units available, that seems super super effective. This is the iron cannon control. Pop this back here,
Building.
It'll all soon be over.
so you can see this thing can really pack a punch, or at least it has the potential to.
It'll all soon be over. Advance.
Reinforcements
That's pretty
ready.
cool. So zone troopers seem to be the kind of big thing.
Construction complete.
Heavy supports.
Select target.
We'll drop in a couple here.
Select
All
target.
the standard drop pods. You can again see what this stuff looks like.
Keep your weapon ready.
Cool. Yeah, let's move out with all this and see
Go, troopers.
see how effective it is. So the variations don't seem to be huge. Curious if this damages the vehicles, so keep an eye on that. For the hover ones, I wouldn't expect it to. Does seem to slow them down compared to the usual flat land, but it isn't actually even causing damage, so it's worth noting. It's not a huge ordeal, but it's definitely something to be mindful of.
Lost. Unit lost.
This AI seems to be a lot more chill
Unit lost.
and letting me kind of just come in and take it out, which is kind of nice for demonstration.
Unit ready. Unit lost. Warning. Nuclear silo detected.
Okay, they got a nuclear missile. Juggernaut up there doing God's work. Interesting idea, making the Juggernaut not need to deploy.
Unit lost.
I would hope to balance it out. Nod. It's kind of a weird one, right? Because they seem to have made the requirement for Nod artillery still have to deploy, whereas these GDI ones do not.
Unit lost.
Which is a little bit imbalanced, especially for multiplayer. You end up in a situation where the Nod opponent is at like a slight disadvantage. So I guess it's not huge, but like having to pack up, move your unit, and all that stuff takes time, which you may not usually have, especially in a PvP setting. Against the AI, like it's not such a huge deal. You can balance it out in terms of how many of these do you give to the AI versus how many do you give to the actual human player.
Reinforcements ready.
But also, it really depends on how much damage they're doing. Like, they seem to be fairly effective. The MCV died reasonably quick. I don't know. It seems, feels like Tiberian Sun in a lot of ways. Like it definitely doesn't feel like a Yuri's Revenge game. Let's put it that way. Aside from some of the quality of life improvements here,
Stealthy unit detected.
like these.
Stealthy unit detected. Unit
But yeah, hopefully that gives you a good feel for this faction. Zone troopers seem really good. Zone troopers mixed in with the mobile iron fortress, very cool. I like the idea of having different high-tech units for the sub-factions of GDI. So the last one had the Mark II, this one seems to have the mobile iron fortress. That's pretty cool. Thank you, the computer. Nice. So that was the second GDI sub-faction, the ZOCOM. Next up, the Iron Cavalry 27 versus Flame of Darkness. Yeah, why don't we go Cyan against Green? We'll change the map to a different one that's included in the mod. Twin Peaks. Have a look at a snowy map. Why not? And yeah, let's go. Oops. Yeah, Commander McWolf here with her phone. Very unusual. Takes me back a good few years. But the assets and stuff is pretty nice. Custom MCV voxels, and like we seem to have this faction Predator tanks, so instead of Titans or the Sonic guys, we have Predator tanks, which seem to be quite similar in nature to a Titan if I had to put money on it.
Predator en route. We hear you. Area confirmed. Standing by. Confirmed. Area confirmed.
The snow assets look okay. It looks a little grungy to me, but I'm not super used to seeing snow maps. Like Tiberian Sun snow can look really nice, especially in mods like Warzone. Tends to be one where it's used quite a bit. But yeah, we'll train some units. That all looks legit so far. Want to get a war factory up.
Standing by.
Curious to see what the unique units of this faction are. Having the RPG tower this early, I think, might be benefits. This might be more of a static defense type sub-faction. There's a Predator tank costing 1,000. Wolf Vulcan tank, that's a different vehicle as well. We'll get some of those. This is instead of the Wolverine, you get a Wolf Vulcan tank.
Wolf here, let's go.
Seems to function quite similar in nature to a Wolverine. And the AI looks like it's actually going to be a little bit more aggressive this time, which is fine.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Get ourselves a couple of MRSs. GDI tech. Well, we have power before the tech center. In here, it's all the same. I'll get an EMP cannon this time. I haven't really shown that off much yet. I'm just guessing at how it works, but we shouldn't leave it to chance. I do like the model for the Predator tanks. It's kind of cool. EMP cannon. We'll stick it here. And that gives me the EMP pulse here, which I can use. The walls, I guess, is worth checking too. I'm assuming that you can build long strips of these, and not just individual tiles. And yeah, it looks like that is the case. Kind of your standard GDI walls. RPG tower. AI doesn't seem to be using a lot of air units so far, I must say, but that's not a complaint necessarily. It just seems to be the way that it's behaving. I'll put this here so it can actually shoot down below the cliff.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Construction complete.
GI Tech Center. Oh, here's the mysterious mobile phone. Deploys tank immediately. That seems very useful.
Construction complete.
We'll see what that's about. And again, of course, the drop pods we're familiar with. This again goes onto the tech support center, so this thing.
Construction complete.
Emergency repair. Deploys tanks immediately. I'm curious about this. If it's just like if you've got like a bunch of tanks queued, does it just spit them all out? Stegodon tank is the special unit, it looks like. It's like kind of a big daddy, I guess, to the Mammoth tank. We'll see. And Juggernauts again, they can be built.
Silos needed.
EMP pulse. How far can we reach? Okay, we can reach to about here. So that's a decent range. I guess we'll test that one of our own tanks just to show it off a bit.
Unit ready. Select target.
There it is. No, I can't move this tank. We have the emergency repair. Here's the Stegodon.
Excellent.
That is a big tank.
The fools cannot hinder me.
Unit ready.
This one looks good.
And there it is next to Mammoth tank. Mammoth tanks come out with the veterancy, so you can see that this specific faction is built for all the tank action, which is kind of cool.
Ready here. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Pretty cool. Iron cannon again we can get. Drop pods we can get.
Construction complete.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
The key thing of interest is going to be this. So I just want to keep a bunch of stuff queued up so we can keep an eye on what that actually does.
Unit ready.
Those are kind of cool. Avatars?
Unit lost.
They are doing a lot of damage though, it's a little worrying.
Unit lost. Select target. Unit lost. Unit ready.
Nice. You can see the enemy have the particle effects.
Promoted.
So like this.
Select target.
Deploys tanks immediately? I'm not quite sure what it means by select target.
Unit promoted.
Ah, okay, so it just does a little squadron of drop-in tanks. That's totally fair.
Lost.
It gives you, what, 2 Wolf Vulcans and 3 of the Predators?
Unit lost.
It's pretty cool. So as your vehicle drop-in, your infantry drop-in,
Unit ready.
you can get your Commander Rock again. But again, the key thing with this faction, I guess, would be to spam Mammoth tanks because they come with the auto veterancy. As you can see here. You can set rally points with your weapons facilities too,
Unit
which makes
ready.
perfect sense, and you can get disruptors and all that good stuff.
Unit lost.
Just so far, so good. The sub-factions definitely do feel like they have their own aesthetic, each of them. This one with the tanks, the second one more with the infantry and the zone troopers, and then the first one seemed like more the traditional
Unit ready.
GDI from Tib Sun, where you get your Titans, you can build your Mammoth Mark II, all that good stuff. So it's cool. It's a cool way of
Unit ready.
mixing it up. I wonder if I can drop this over here. Oh, I can. That's kind of cool.
Unit
So you can use your little drop pods to try and take out some of these before crossing.
ready.
It's a nice idea. Possibly we can use the Juggernauts here too.
Mission funds.
Their movement's a little bit weird. It's a bit of a nice wobble to it. Don't hate it. Definitely don't hate it.
Training.
I'll build Commander Rock here
Ready.
and just see if he can see 4 buildings. I assume he can, but we haven't checked that yet. What else am I building? Nothing? Okay. Just because we're just going to test this, I'll sell the Conyard.
Reinforcements ready.
Get
Unit
this party
ready.
started. What do you got for me? I'm there.
Yeah, and he has C4 access, which should detonate a whole structure. We can test it on this.
The thought that counts.
We'll see if we keep our tech if we lose this tech center. We do not,
Stealth unit.
but it does take out the whole thing,
Stealth
which is cool.
unit detected.
Gatling guns all
I'm the juggernaut. That won't
We'll see if these can reach from here to here, I'll be curious.
Stealth unit
And then we
detected.
might pop out and check out a different faction.
Unit lost.
So I think we've seen all that we really need to see from this one at the
Unit
moment.
lost. Stealth unit detected.
Nice. So they can reach. It's nice. It's a good demonstration of why it's useful to have the artillery here. And then for Nod, if they're slow moving and like they can't move when they shoot, then you have to kind of deploy it, move it, deploy it, move it. Can be quite annoying. Curious to check out those Avatar units when playing as that faction. But yeah.
Lost.
So for this one, key takeaways were the
Unit lost.
Stegodon tank, this big boy.
Unit lost.
You had the Mammoth tanks,
Lost.
and they came out auto veterancy. Plus,
Unit lost.
I mean, those are kind of the biggest ones. You also get the phone ability that we had available to drop in like 5 tanks as well, which is pretty powerful. But yeah, nice.
Battle control terminated.
So that is the 3rd GDI subfaction. We'll pop in next to the Nod ones. So first Nod faction, Flame of Darkness, just who we played against. We'll reverse the roles here. Like I don't really want to be doing like huge maps just for testing stuff out. Doesn't really make sense. There's got to be. There's also game types here worth mentioning. Normal, easy, medium, hard. So it'll probably help determine some of the AI's behavior. Peace and joy, okay. This one looks straightforward. We'll play as a red Nod faction against a gold GDI, something a bit more classic. Yeah, I think that looks good. And we're going. There's Commander Obelise. Again, cool splash screen there. Alright. So we have our tick tanks, which can deploy. We have our light infantry, so this is all very straightforward. We're on the bottom right corner of the map. Again, custom cameos for the different art assets, pretty nice. Faithful to the originals, yet, you know, putting your own stamp on it. It's kind of cool. You can build cyborgs by default with this faction, light infantry and rocket infantry. I don't think any of that's too surprising. War factory. Some nice blue tube action going on over here. Jeez, GI already on top of me here. Okay. We're crawling, just sort of crawling with our bases over here. This is good practice if you're playing these matches a bit more seriously. Laser turret we can get down, so raider buggy, attack cycles, we have 2 tanks. Mobile repair vehicle, don't need a repair bait to build it, it's an interesting choice for a balance perspective. May as well attack this, right? Why not? He says moments before he becomes overrun by GDI. Here's the bikes. Seem relatively fast, as you might expect. More cyborgs, I guess. We set the cyborgs to go to the, I guess, before the TIB, in case I switch. Advanced power plant. Boom, down that goes. Laser fence still in the game. Guess it's worth showing them off. Might be in trouble here. Could be bad. I mean, this is par for the course. We died the first time we tried it with GDI as well, so it's an adjustment period. Okay, we need power back. We now have access to Spectre mobile artillery. They seem good. I guess the laser turret, get that down. Put that in a more defendable location would be good. Laser turret. Stick one here. Here's our Spectre mobile artillery, so it seems when it's static it's invisible. So if I deploy it, it also seems to stay invisible. That's kind of a cool trade-off. So if you have to statically deploy them, they stay invisible. Looks like, okay, so we get an EMP stealth line. It's a tech center upgrade or a stealth line. So you got a couple of options for that stuff. Whoops. Stay alive. Obelisk of Darkness, I believe, is a new structure. Let's try and stay alive here. Here's our Obelisk of Darkness. Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool looking. Temple of Nod, I guess we have to get. We want to check out what a nuke is. We can build a comedian spy. That's cool. Sandworm transport. Fist of Nod, mobile stealth generator, stealth tank, Devil's Tongue. So all the stealth stuff here seems to be what this faction's specialty is. Which, you know, makes sense. Cyborg Commando, 2400 too. It's their proper commando type unit. I stopped building vehicles, which is really bad. I guess tick tanks are probably what I want to be building, that kind of thing. Unit firepower plus 10%. Hopefully that's only restricted to my own units. Get some more cyborgs out.
Lost. Unit promoted. Units lost.
Try and get a... Hey, he's captured my stuff! What? What's this? Bad AI.
Units lost. Our base is under attack.
Could you not do that, sir?
Cannot deploy here. Our base is under attack.
War factory.
He's next. Taking that location.
Tiberium is the answer.
Jeez. Rude.
Unit ready.
Missile silo I can build as well.
Construction complete.
So the Temple of Nod didn't give me access to any special tech out of the gate.
Units lost.
This thing doesn't seem to have very good range, or if it functions at all. I don't think I've seen it shoot once.
Unit promoted.
Unless it is shooting, I just don't see the animation. I
Construction
can't force shoot it. There's our missile silo, so that gives us the nuke. So you need to get the nuke after you've gotten the Temple of Nod.
construction.
It's a bit of an expensive way to get up there, but alright. And here are the avatar units. So these are the cool cyborg type guys we saw before. What else? Anything else? We can build the waste facility, but I'm not sure the purpose of it because it didn't seem like that stuff was usable.
On hold.
We call it a Tiberian waste facility, so it likely just to give you a way of harvesting the veins for cash. Would be my guess. Build a whole bunch of cyborgs. And we're going to want to increase our base defenses. Obelisk of Light, since we have the Obelisk of Darkness. Here's our Obelisk of Light.
Warning. Ion control detected.
So they just built an ion cannon. That's fine. We want to check on the air support for Nod.
Building.
Those are avatar units.
Units lost. Our base is under attack.
Cool. So Nod helipads. This should give us access to air units. Harpy and a Banshee fighter. They're kind of the standard you would expect in Nod's arsenal. We'll try to get vision of their base. Here's the Harpy. Similar to the Orca, it looks like it doesn't need to reload its charge.
Units lost.
It doesn't even have pips, funnily enough.
Lost.
This should be interesting. If I can hold this here, I think I should. Yeah, not really sure what the Obelisk of Darkness is about.
What is it? Yep.
Alright. What do you want to build here? Cyber Reaper is fairly standard unit. Stealth Tank, fairly standard unit. Sandworm Transport.
Unit ready.
This is basically your Dragon's Tongue equivalent, I guess. I mean, we can build one. Have a look.
Cancelled.
Give ourselves access to these stealth mine bits of tech. Any more defensive structures we haven't built? A SAM site. Stealth mine. Build on this. Now I would believe in here. Oh, it's a timer. Okay.
Our base is under attack.
Interesting. AI is actually using its tech
Units lost. Low power.
and actually knocking me low power in the process. Well, that's no fun. Zone Trooper is absolutely wrecking here. Here's the Sandworm Transport, and as you can see, it's got a lot of space on it. I'm curious if it's similar to what we've seen before, and able to shoot with units inside of it. No, it's not. It's just this huge APC, which is also okay in its own right. It's just different.
Our base is under attack. Harvester under attack. Units lost.
Get away!
Construction
Tick tanks
building.
and cyborgs,
Base is under attack.
and try not to die.
Units lost. Units lost. Building.
Damn, that was a bit rough.
Unit lost.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to survive this.
Is under attack. Unit lost. Unit ready.
The range of these obelisks is going to kick my ass.
Complete. Unit lost. Insufficient funds. Unit lost. Building. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Damn, what's this thing? Oh, it's got a rocket amphibious APC. Nice. Then the ion cannon coming down. Wowzers. Okay, that's interesting. Well, we got to see with this faction was how the stealth stuff works, which is the key thing. We'll show off the nuke in the next round, I guess. Interesting to see how the AI plays differently depending on the faction. Ouchies. Those zone trooper drops were rough, man. But yeah, so stealth seems to be that specific faction's strength. Obelisk of Darkness. Not really quite sure what that does. Let me see if they have it on the sheet here. That was a little bit peculiar. Unique units, Obelisk of Darkness. Doesn't really say. So I'm not 100% certain on what that actually did. But fair enough. We'll move on to the next one. Flame of Darkness there, so kind of in the name Darkness, right? It does give you a little bit of flavor at the bottom. It focuses on base defense and laser weaponry. So there you go. Black Hand next up. It's got its stealth and subterranean technologies, so we'll try those. Against Steel Talons. So they're good at laser weaponry, stealth, and subterranean. Okay, okay. Try a different map. Grassy Knolls, a bit of a classic map. Like, I should really just stick with the 2-player ones. Try this one, they all float. A bit far from each other, but we'll see how that plays out. So Black Hand versus Steel Talons. Let's go. Here's Commander Stromberg.
Find a place worthy of
Construction
ready,
options.
sir. Let's hit it.
Wind's word is all.
Construction complete.
Confessors. Alright,
Deploy here.
it's different.
Advantage is ours.
It's kind of like
The advantage
the
is ours.
Commander units.
Word is
Construction
ours.
options.
Rally to the Brotherhood.
So Confessors, yeah, you can see they don't get cyborgs, but they get Confessors instead. It's kind of like a heavy machine gun infantry.
Guidance for the masses. The word is ours.
It's kind of cool.
Unit ready.
Our power is
Construction
alive.
complete. New construction options.
Not sure where the Tib and stuff is on this map, but we'll see.
We are the chosen. Our power is alive. We serve the prophet.
We will find it.
In the glory of Cain.
Again, laser turrets, walls, all
Advance
that
to
good
glory.
stuff.
Glory of Cain. We serve the prophet.
Construction
Advance
complete.
to glory.
There's a war factory. We're going to build a good few tick tanks this time. I think that was a bit painful last time, was I kind of stopped building tanks because I wasn't really sure what to build. We can see some Tiberian veins on this map too. We'll see if we can get a Tiberian vein collector guy, and if it'll actually work on this map. So there wasn't really veins on the last one to test it with. Nod radar support, increase additional income 3,500. Okay. Seems a bit of a weird one.
Construction complete.
Guess that increases the income I get from my harvesters? Possibly? Maybe?
On hold.
Shadow Team I can build. A Black Hand Sniper I can build. Try those out.
Unit ready.
Spectre Artillery again.
Unit ready.
Seem good.
Construction
Ready, sir.
options.
Taking that location.
Unit ready.
Okay, it should be enough tick tanks.
Certainly.
Non-tech center. Laser turrets, SAM sites seem kind of the same. So here's the Shadow Team. And here's the Black Hand Snipers. So these all are cloaked by default.
In the glory of Cain.
Ready, sir.
It's pretty cool.
Complete.
Nod. In silence.
So useful to put them somewhere like up here.
Construction options.
Oh, a cloaking field makes target invisible. So that's an extra bonus we can add on to our tech center. What have we got in here? Spectre Artillery, Devil's Tongues, the classic. We can build Sandworm Transport again. And Stealth Tanks. Cool.
Unit ready.
Seems pretty good.
Building.
We're getting these artillery auto-promoted as well from the gate.
Construction complete.
Looks like Devil's Tongue. Pretty cool. Nice animation to it. Stealth Mine, we'll get this as well.
Ready.
Here comes the Nod player.
Construction complete. Unit lost.
Infantry there making good work of his supplies. All the blue Tiberian blowing up there. Rip.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit promoted.
Alright, these guys need to deploy to work.
Unit promoted.
So they should be in a much better position to work now. There also doesn't seem to be a limit to the amount of tech you can put on the tech structure, which is good.
Building.
Well, it's debatable from a balance perspective. Like, do you want to force your player to only have 2 potential upgrades or 3 potential upgrades or whatever?
Kane's word is all.
But they seem to not care. Voice Kane, unit firepower. Black Hand Commando here. Little rookie. It's kind of cool. A High Confessor as well. Some more special units. This is their Temple of Nod. And then we need to get the missile silo. Nod wall, laser turret. That's all.
Unit promoted.
It's all good. Interesting, the AI is not really reacting to these units properly, I would say.
Unit lost.
That's fair enough. Cloaking field makes target visible. Does it make all of them?
Unit ready.
Yeah, it makes like 3 or 4 of them.
Unit
It's pretty good.
Unit lost.
Do want to make sure I keep building.
Unit lost.
Stopping building is like certain death in this. We're getting auto-promoted stealth tanks here too. It's pretty cool.
Unit lost.
As this is like the stealth slash, you know, subterranean style faction. Makes sense. We've seen the fact we get a Harpy and a Banshee. It seemed fairly standard. I guess we can try build them again.
Construction complete.
We want to try stay long enough this time so we can actually use that silo. Would be nice. Yeah, and the Harpy and Banshee here is the same dealio.
Unit ready.
I think I might not survive this, to be honest.
Unit lost.
This is the High Confessor,
Unit
and then this is the Black Hand Commando. Black Hand Commando looking pretty baller over here.
Unit lost. Select target. Unit lost.
Ah, stealth mine like drops in a bunch of mines like that. It's kind of cool.
Select target.
It's a neat idea.
Unit lost.
The Harpy here going to do some damage, but it's not quite going to be enough. Oh, rip.
Our base is under attack. Unit lost.
Alright, interesting. So this one, you get the little rookie unit. You get stealth tanks.
Insufficient funds.
You get the auto-promoted stealth tanks. A couple of the auto-promoted other units as well.
Under attack.
Oh, this guy, because he's a primary titan, or veterancy is so high, they're shooting railguns instead. It's kind of cool.
Unit lost.
But yeah, this faction seems to focus primarily on stealth units. Didn't really see a particularly special
Battle
final
control
tier unit
terminated.
from them. There was the Sandworm transport, so I guess maybe they consider that to be it. But yeah, that was Black Hand. Next up, CABAL. They are cyborgy units. Okay. Hand of CABAL versus Steel Talons, right? CABAL traditionally blue, Steel Talons traditionally gold. Okay, we'll try this map, why not? We don't need the third opponent, that's fine. You know what? We can go. We can give ourselves an ally. How about that? Black Hand. Sure. 2, 3. So we'll take the corners. I'll take the bottom left corner. Alright, so I'll be handed ball. CABAL with Black Hand against Steel Talons. Here's Paladin Azra. Pretty cool.
Not building.
Alright.
New construction options.
I got these cyborgs, but their tint looks different.
New
A
construction
little bit extra red on their
building.
skin.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Da-da-da.
Building.
Alright.
Ready to move. No waiting around. Ready, sir. Come on. Ready to move.
Should probably do some early scoutage.
Construction complete. New construction
Alright.
options.
Get a war factory. So you can build cyborgs by default with this faction. And rocket infantry.
Unit ready.
They can't hold up forever. Come on.
Unit ready. Construction complete. Cannot deploy here.
War factory. I guess we've got harvesters this time. We want the game to go on a little bit longer and actually survive.
Building.
Not radar.
Unit ready.
That's a big pyramid.
We're at your disposal. They can't hold up forever.
Construction
Move it in.
complete. New construction options.
We're at your disposal. Waiting on orders. Let's hit it.
We want our allies. More standard setup.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Cool.
Building.
What do we got here? Spectre artillery again. We built Tiberian troopers. That's different for this faction.
Okay, is everything loaded?
So they're kind of like chem warriors, I guess.
Unit ready.
That's interesting. A little bit different.
Unit ready. Construction complete.
Not tech center. Build infantry become cyborgs. Is this
They can't hold up
ability?
forever. No waiting around.
Construction
It's very similar to Yuri's Revenge. I think we've seen this in one of our first matches.
Unit ready.
Temple of Nod. You can build cyborg Templars. It's different. You can still build Sandworm Transport, Stealth Tank, Devil's Tongue. Yeah. So the tier, the very high tier vehicles don't seem to be as much of a focus for Nod as they are to the GDI subfactions.
Construction complete.
The Nod subfactions seem to be more based around stealth capabilities.
Unit ready.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It seems to be based around stealth capabilities, subterranean capabilities, all that good stuff. Do you mean to build? I meant to build a refinery there.
Building.
That's
Unit
alright.
lost. Unit ready. Unit lost.
Let's see how good these cyborgs are against Titans. Maybe they'll be good.
Lost. Unit
Yeah,
lost.
it's alright.
Unit ready. Unit lost. Construction complete.
We'll build a helipad in case we get any special air units. We seem to have gotten some adult Visceroids here. I guess because the Cyborg Templars killed some units or something. That's kind of interesting.
New
Different.
construction options.
Harpy and Banshees again.
Building.
So nothing too crazy there.
Unit ready. Building.
Looking clear.
Take this over
Copy
this
that.
side.
Ready to move. Let's hit it.
Hidden in danger position. They didn't see us coming. Moving out to death.
Unit
Like
ready.
a Spectre moving. Spectre
Put these here to make sure they've got vision. Redemption. So infantry become cyborgs. Wonder if I could use this on my ally.
Unit ready.
Yep. It's a bit of a dick move, but I can. That's kind of cool. Missile silo. I need to get advanced power first. I also need to not stop building.
Unit ready.
Ready for coordinates.
Construction complete. Building.
We'll get some extra power, and then we'll get
Unit lost.
the stuff.
Unit ready. Cannot deploy here. Unit lost.
Oops.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
And then we'll get... What's this one?
Unit lost.
Few of these. Few of
Unit
these.
ready.
Nice.
Unit ready.
Wasting time. Go, go.
Alright.
Let's go.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Cyber Commando we can build again. Unlike the last faction who had their own special rookie unit.
Unit ready.
Light Infantry
Construction
Clone.
complete. Unit ready. Cannot deploy here. New construction option.
Iron Cannon. We can try run 2 Banshees in here, see how much damage they do.
Unit ready.
It's not going to be anywhere near enough.
Iron cannon detected. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Yeah, I mean, we're alive, we're alive. A couple Cyborg Reapers.
Unit ready.
You can kind of tell I'm usually a GDI main just from the way I'm playing mod here.
Select target.
Oh, this could be good if it gets all of these.
Unit
Look at that! Holy shit!
Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit
All those free
lost.
units.
Unit ready.
We'll try nuke the Conyard. I'll be curious if it takes it out or not. For a multiplayer balance perspective, it shouldn't. But we'll see. We'll see what they manage. We'll snap down some static defenses just to have a look at them again.
Construction complete.
There's the laser turret.
Unit ready.
It's fairly standard, similar to the base game.
Unit ready.
SAM side, expect to be very similar to the base game as well. Yep.
Deploy here.
Once again, we got the
Cannot deploy.
laser fences.
Building. Construction complete.
It's set up like so. We get the EMP cannon down as well. I need to be careful to use this nuke straight away because he's probably going to use his iron cannon straight away and potentially aim for my stuff, which would be a pain in the ass. Well, it seems like our artillery is longer range, even though it's deployed, so that's another nice way of dealing with the balance aspects of that.
Unit lost.
Okay.
Base under attack.
What?
Unit lost.
Oh, we did a little drop ship back here,
Unit lost.
Ready, sir.
which got my barracks,
Building.
but I still have my nuke.
Construction complete. New construction option.
He also got my radar.
Building.
They can't hold up
Nice.
forever.
This is a good demonstration of how effective those
Okay,
things
is
can be.
everything loaded? Come on.
Select target. Construction complete. Unit lost. Unit lost.
It's pretty fun.
New
There's our radar back.
options. Building.
I'll build the waste facility and see what it does on this map. There's not, I don't think there's actually any waste on the map to pick up. But I'm curious if it just acts as like a regular harv, maybe. EM pulse is ready. It's good to know.
Construction complete.
I'll build a few more tick tanks.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Channels open.
Fields of green.
Unit ready.
So here's the waste facility.
Unit ready.
Don't even get a vehicle with it, so I'm guessing the functionality for this just isn't here.
Attack. Unit lost.
Here comes the disruptors.
Unit lost.
Our nuke's almost ready.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Let's see a little animation here of it opening up.
Base under attack.
Come on.
Unit ready.
Drive them back.
Missile ready. Missile launch detected.
Oh
Base
no!
under
We
attack.
got my power first.
Building. Unit ready.
Oh, I got it. Okay, that's weird. Must have just about got it. So it brought the MCV to half health and destroyed a bunch of stuff around it, which is also pretty good. And looks like his iron didn't totally wipe out my Conyard either. It's nice.
Unit ready.
Obelisk of Light. I think we saw this before. The other faction had this cheaper. I guess that was their kind of
Unit ready.
perk.
Unit lost.
Take this out. I guess we'll try take out our opponent now at this point.
Select target. Unit lost.
This guy seemed to be immune or a little special hero to that ability, which is kind of a good idea.
Unit lost.
Get their power here.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Still low power.
Building. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Nice. Take out the turrets.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Construction complete. Cancel. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Oh, they got a Mammoth Mark II.
Construction complete.
Rip.
Unit lost.
And they're doing a drop in the base.
Unit lost. Base under attack. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Once again, stop building. It's
Unit
pretty bad.
lost. Unit ready. Training. Unit ready.
A bunch of these. Bunch of these.
Preparing. Unit lost.
Doing all the time drops. Meanwhile, the ally is pretty set up. You can have an interesting look at how the
Unit ready.
AI behaves here.
Unit lost.
Chemical missiles charging over time, so we unlock that through the use of the Tiberian waste facility, I guess.
Construction complete. Unit ready.
We definitely didn't have that available before, so I guess it is worth building just because it brings up the timer on that.
Unit ready. Select target.
He's not building infantry, so that's kind of useless at this point.
Unit ready. Building. On hold.
Let's build a bunch of stealth tanks.
Building. Unit ready. Unit lost.
We're wasting time.
Unit ready.
Go.
Primary building.
Here's our stealth
Unit
tanks.
ready. Unit ready.
Seeing our allies got their nuke.
Unit ready. Base under attack. Unit ready. Repairing. Unit ready. Unit lost.
They gonna use it?
Unit ready.
Is the question.
Unit ready.
Just rebuilt their conyards.
Unit
Nice, nice.
Unit lost. Training. Unit ready. Unit ready. On hold. Cancel. Unit ready.
Any scanners around? Get into
On hold.
position.
Cancel.
Quiet. Get into
Unit ready.
position.
Base under attack. Unit
So they've
ready.
done a drop in here with their
Unit ready.
vehicles.
Unit ready.
Pretty cool. That ability to get that Visceroid occasionally is pretty nice. Ties in well with the whole CABAL ethics. Or CABAL style. GI tech centers up there. And we'll launch a chemical missile here just to try it out. See how effective it is, and then we'll probably call it there for a look at this faction. Yeah, so it's alright. Again, chemical missile usually meant for infantry and stuff like that, but the gas will definitely mess them up quite a bit.
Select target.
And then you can do like an EMP pulse and stop this stuff.
Base under attack.
So it puts all this stuff in its tracks. Then you send your stuff in. Like so.
Base under attack.
And then they attack your base while you're out of it. But yeah, that's a good look for this faction. So
Battle control all
nice. And with that, we've looked at all 6 factions, I believe. So we've looked at Steel Talons. They use the best mechanized walkers. We looked at ZOCOM, which use protective infantry and supporting vehicles. Iron Cavalry, which deploys tanks faster. Flame of Darkness, which focuses on base defenses and laser weapons. The Black Hand, good at stealth and subterranean. Then the Cabal, which has the cyborg units. was a good look at the skirmish side of it. We can now have a look at the story mode. I think this is what they put more so the work into, as they kind of market this mod as a sort of visual novel of sorts. So we have a couple of chapters. 00 is the prologue. I'll probably play the prologue and then go through mission 1, I guess, and then call it there. So prologue: during the routine work report, Obelisk demonstrated the EVA battlefield simulator to the commander. She must complete a series of objectives set by EVA. EVA will collect operational results which will help improve EVA. And play. The story and the characters have no connection to anything in real life or in the Command & Conquer series. Go figure. Go figure. Receiving incoming transmission. This is all automatic, by the way. I have no control over this reading of this text. There's CABAL. Since the day of the Covenant, with the Paladins as witness, you've grown from the ignorant weaklings to the warriors you are, wise and strong. I guess I don't think I have control over this. Maybe we'll click. You may now count yourself to be amongst those who have reached salvation, thanks to all the works you have done to bring the vision into reality. Yeah, I'm clicking, it doesn't do anything. I hereby grant you the title of Paladin. May the Prophet protect you and Victor ever be your companion. I am honored, my lord. It is earned through deeds. I trust you will not disappoint us in the future either. We have important tasks at hand. The Flame of Darkness is at its final stage. I believe it is to be the deciding factor in winning this war. The keystone is his grand undertaking. I need you to finish the work on the Flame of Darkness. As to future operations, we shall discuss later in private. My lord, I have been thinking I could bring her here. She is the mother of the Flame of Darkness. She too is the prisoner of fate. Indeed, she might prove invaluable. It was not necessary, but I will grant your wish. The Prophet had accounted for destinies after all. I shall not interfere. Still, some prisoners are not meant to be freed, not even by you. I understand. Thank you, my lord. Nod Command Center, Obelisk. Day after day I spend in the office with the clicks and keystrokes as my only companion. Today is probably no different. The war is at its critical moment. Even if they really wanted me, they wouldn't need to come down here in person. I'm busy upgrading the Brotherhood's EVA system. We, Science Division, were supposed to do maintenance on AI. Normally there would be a dedicated tech team. After the Firestone crisis, they all but vanished. Then the Brotherhood somehow got an EVA unit from GDI. They did a hasty recalibration to make it work. But we still need to completely reprogram it for Brotherhood. Our team got the job. Current vision is our third integration. Change the voice to mail, input more unit data, and enhance simulation capability. Other than their disappearance, there was another reason for us to replace the previous team. Oh. We are the R&D team. Since the last war, the demand for Brotherhood's countermeasures grew against GDI grew steadily. We have to innovate at a faster and faster pace. It is because of us that the Brotherhood have the high-tech equipment with which we can match GDI's overwhelming force. After the crisis, the commanders in the front line got a higher priority for funding, our funds cut, and project halted. The Brotherhood therefore directed our focus to develop EVA into a replacement for CABAL. Man, what kind of fruit is this? I bought it for you, but how do you eat it? The skin is kind of hard. Should I just bite on it? The girl in white behind me pulled me from my contemplation back into reality. The girl in white behind me pulled me back from my contemplation back into reality. I didn't think I was that concentrated, but my room temperature alertness didn't pick up her footsteps. I don't know who else might sneak up behind me next time. I only hope she isn't up to whack me. Thank you. You'll need a knife for this one. Makes good tea. Better still with honey. Did you get honey as well? They only have cheap synthetic honey and they rarely stock them in the commissariat? Come to think of it, is there such a thing as natural honey? Yikes, it's not me. And holding the mug, staring at the mist rising from the warmth it contains. Taking a tentative sip, the tender pulp slipped down the throat, arousing tasting buds all the way. I smelled the sweet, lingering aroma of the synthetic flavor. I only got 2 today. The guy said fruits sell quickly. They are usually gone within hours. Yeah, I heard they've taken in new inventory, so I wanted to try this out. It's called passion fruit. It used to be common in the tropical regions, not so much now. Like all the other fruits, thanks to climate change. Oh, figures. But lucky us, the greenhouses in the upper level grew a few trees. They are low priority when it comes to fruits. Do you think somewhere in this world exists another place that grows passion fruits? Maybe? I can't say no for sure, but the chances are pretty low. I remember my parents telling about the vibrant and colourful world, the world that used to be. With all kinds of vegetable, animal and mineral, fresh fruit and meat on the table. Then fruit became vitamin tablets, meat turned into strange paste in tin cans. Fresh food no longer accessible, only to be turned into highly concentrated manufactured supply chain. And you brought it up, I wouldn't have noticed passion fruit. It looks like it's gone bad. By the way, if you leave it there you'll forget, and it will be cold when you drink it again. It's fine, I don't mind. Takes another symbolic sip. Don't you want a cup? Thanks, but you should have the other one as well. I feel bad enjoying it at your expense. Why did she suddenly want fruit? Nutrition tablet is just as good for vitamin and much cheaper. Huh? I just wanted to taste it. Any fruit is luxury food. I wouldn't have spent money on them if I were you. I actually don't care for fruit in general, but passion fruit is an exception. I've had passion fruit with someone before. It wasn't necessarily tasty, but this should have been memorable, but I don't recall much. Speak of which, what intel have you gathered? It sure was difficult. They told me the people you mentioned have gone their own separate ways. Even if they know where to look, it's impossible to find them in short time. I'll be off to run some errands next week at Ari's Camp for the Forgotten. I'll keep an eye for you there. Good, thank you. What have you been drawing, man? Shush, be quiet. Even though there are so many monitors in the console, the schematics I distract myself with on the side still caught our eye. Then again, as a member of the team, she recognized the drawing. I look around the place, there was no one else here, only a flashing red light from the mainframe that casts its light on the corner of the giant map screen, like a star in the twilight. Tell no one about this. You know this is what I am supposed to be doing. Only that the brass no longer needs it. Wait, the data, shouldn't it have been purged? Certainly not, you've just seen it. Since that had happened, let's keep it between you, me, and my EVA. Okay, so that's why your workload is so huge. You'll get in trouble for delaying EVA development. I know, don't you worry. Ellipses. There's a commander coming to visit. Thanks to Eva's notice, I locked my door before they come in. Thanks. I don't like the notion that people can just barge into my office, but the power that be won't like me locking myself in the room. The way I see it, the commander is always suspicious of me. I don't want to give her any more reason. Stromberg. Odalise, report your progress on EVA calibration. That's my boss right there. Her long hair and purple eyes throws cold suspicion upon me. On her chest, she wears a silver medallion that shows her rank in the Brotherhood. Rumor has it that she was responsible for the dismissal of my team. If that were true, Commander Stromberg is not only my boss, but also my enemy. After I was reassigned to EVA Project, our relationship became just another link in the Brotherhood's chain of command. I answer to her, she to someone further up. Probably some general I've never met. Yes, we have reconfigured the audio module. She no longer sounds feeble like GDI. I expect positive response from the brass. Most of our efforts, however, were spent on improving battlefield control and simulation. The original EVA was accustomed to GDI operations. She has now learned our ways. Of course, so far Cabal still far outstrips EVA. She was made by GDI after all. We could learn a few algorithms from Cabal. I know Cabal's ability to seated auxiliary staff work. He has no problem taking the field on his own. You may be a scientist, but how much do you understand Cabal? It's fortunate that you are not in the team that worked on Cabal. It is way too complicated. Cabal is consciousness. He is alive. There is something about living that computers cannot make up. I was required to study about AI. Some materials mention briefly how the Brotherhood made Cabal. It can be said that Cabal is the culmination of the brainpower of thousands of commanders, warriors, and logisticians, all of them volunteered for our cause and the technology of peace. So you have done your homework. Indeed, it was a biologically assisted machine. Where do you suppose that I should find you those brains? Perhaps starting with yourself? Forget it, Odalise. Not to mention that the inner circle of the Brotherhood is strongly against such design. Machines should remain machines that receive and execute instructions, but if one day it becomes man, it will also acquire his deception and hatred. That is what led us here today. I am aware of your creative ambition and your team's contribution for the Brotherhood. I will overlook your comment this time. I had to shut up in the face of the Commander's criticism. I probably don't even know enough about Cabal. I don't even claim to be an expert on it. Yet we are at war with one right now. It makes one not only balk in its horror, but also marvel at its potential. Let's discuss something else. Show me your simulation module. Alright. As I began to enter instructions on my keyboard, I chanced to glance up the screen. The schematics was still over there. My heart stopped for a second. I tried my best removing the drawings, hoping that the commander may not necessarily notice my sleight of hand, but the anxiety is almost too much to manage. What about voice control? Do you suppose that commanders of the Brotherhood could afford to sit down and type with both hands at the most critical moment of battle to operate EVA? No, not at all. Voice control is fully functional. It would appear that the commander wasn't paying attention to my little side project. When I'm afraid of her overzealous investigation, I try to find some excuse to cover my tracks, but obviously I'm bad at that. EVA, initiate combat simulation. Establishing battlefield control. Welcome back, Commander. You've initiated the combat simulation module of the Brotherhood of Nob. This system will provide you with personal training and performance analysis. All effects and objects are simulated with no consequences in real life. Database update complete. Awaiting battlefield customization. Generate random terrain. Terrain template, inland, difficulty level 2, faction parameters red, Brotherhood of Nod, yellow, GDI, mission type 9, all other variables are random. Please stand by. Geographic location, North American. Interior, time, noon. Climb, temperate. Tiberian infestation. Briefing, the Boxer team have lost control of base after completing previous mission. They are attempting exfiltration. Objective, re-establish contact with the Boxer team through EVA and guide them through the exfiltration. All systems nominal. I'm confident that the commander will find it satisfactory as long as she doesn't want to split hairs. GDI had already implemented the simulation system in EVA. I think they've done a good enough job on that one. I glanced at the commander, inviting her comments. She gave a barely noticeable nod. Meanwhile, EVA had begun to generate mission briefings. Boxer 1, Raven, team leader, member of the elite cadre of the Brotherhood, proficient in fire and maneuver tactics with his minigun, able to deal with most infantry targets at close range. Boxer 2, Eldred, fire support specialist, suitable for destruction of enemy vehicles, buildings, or obstacles with a rocket launcher. Boxer 3, Fergus, reserve team member, long-range marksman, providing sniping fire coverage over long distance. The Boxer team is comprised of the aforementioned 3 members. All members are to survive this mission. EVA will prompt necessary information throughout the mission and to simulate necessary support from base. All user actions will be logged. Records are accessible to personnel with Criminal 3 or higher security clearance. EVA will also process the data collected from the mission for further learning and model improvement. End of briefing. Good luck, Commander. That's pretty cool. Different.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by.
This is the Boxer team. They've completed the mission and are on their way to base. You need to help them find the route through the valley. Keep the members of the Boxer team alive.
New objective received.
Doesn't hold the mouse. Yeah.
Let's get there.
That's cool.
Sniper team.
So I mean the voice acting stuff is certainly interesting. Not the voice acting, the visual novel stuff. I mean, they're working with the material they have, I guess.
Need somebody taken out?
One thing I do dislike about the single player side of this is that you cannot adjust the gameplay speed. As you're aware from the skirmishes earlier, I tend to play on fastest. But there's no option, from what I've seen in game, to be able to adjust the single player campaign speed, which is okay. It's not too bad. It's just, you know, you can be stuck waiting for long periods of time unnecessarily. Yeah, for first mission, it's pretty cool. You got your Boxer team. You want to get out of here. Abandoned radar station found. This radar station may be able to contact the base, but you need to find a power supply for it. So that's pretty cool.
Sniper team, keep out of sight.
So we're using the boys here.
Heading to new position. Sniper team.
Again, they did a good job of making it feel like Tiberian Sun.
Enemies around.
The actual gameplay part of it, anyway. This feels like Tib Sun.
On the move. This area clear? Not a problem. Need somebody taken out?
So you camp.
What do you see?
Insufficient funds. New construction.
Abandoned Hananah discovered. If you can find some resources, you can use the Hananah to train infantry. I just see Commander, the wrecked buildings on the battlefield are not all useless. We can fix and re-enable them. Oh, we got engineers.
I'm listening. How's our position?
Okay.
Trust me. You can trust me.
Building captured.
We can use one of those. May I assist you? Yes. I'll show myself in. Heading to new position.
Alright. Interestingly, this seems to give us some cash. The old refinery. It seems to be going up. So this is acting kind of like an oil tech derrick, I guess. It's an interesting use for the old buildings. Tib Sun itself doesn't tend to give any functionality to them, so I think it's a nice little additional ability they've given here. Maybe I can go up here with these guys.
Scanning new area.
Wheels of steel. Taking position.
I can build engineers, but I don't really have anything to use them with.
Moving it up front.
Cross the river without a bridge. In addition to the aircraft, you can use a subterranean. Hell yeah. That's what we're doing, boys. So starting off with a little commander style mission. Having to use your subterranean unit to kind of cliff hop a little bit here.
If it moves, kill it. Keep low. Rockets this way. A better spot. Keep low. Stay clear.
Primary objective achieved.
Yeah, some power plants here. We can contact the base with the base radar, but it seems it takes a little time to connect. During the startup, our signals may reveal their position.
New objective received.
Must protect the radar before it contacts the base.
Repairing. Repairing.
Alright. We can do that. Let's get the boys back.
Taking position.
So it's a nice introductory mission to the campaign. Teaching you some of the basics. Giving you a couple of elite commando type units.
King's word is all. Now let's see.
Kill it. All right.
RIP our only income
Is
source.
under attack. Repairing.
All right. Take him down.
Training.
Reckoner. Here we go.
Might not make this. This is gonna be dicey.
Secondary objective achieved.
Radar connect successful. Receiving the route to the base.
You can trust me. I can see what
Route has been received. Need to go southeast. So they've expanded the map out here a little bit. It's something a few mods I've seen have done. It's a nice effect.
Reckoner.
It helps you kind of like prolong a mission like this,
Protecting Kane's
depending on the
servants.
way it goes.
as you command.
Let's get out there. All right.
Where's our next target? We serve the prophet.
Guess we gotta go this way.
Advance to glory.
Roads no longer possible. We need engineers. Good thing we have some.
Let's get to work. It is
I guess we'll capture these silos. Maybe just cash them.
use one of those.
Building captured.
Yeah, some cash.
Reckoner here. No one can stop me.
Guidance for the masses.
A force to reckon
For the Black
with.
Hand.
No one can stop
Guidance
me.
for the masses.
Wheels of steel.
All shall see.
Protecting Kane's servants.
Guidance for the masses. We shall
Reckoner.
lead.
On my way.
We are the chosen. All shall see.
Okay, GDI forces detected. Still GDI base here.
Advance to glory.
Reckoner. Let's hit the road.
No construction options.
Shadow team is ready. They can secretly sneak into the enemy base and set time bombs.
A force to reckon with. Let's hit the road.
Alright.
Who are we firing at next? Stay
Unit
clear.
ready.
To lead. For the Black Hand.
New objective received.
This area clear?
Be
Any
back.
enemies around?
Rockets right here.
Unit ready.
The wings of Nod.
Give us some cash.
Of Nod. Focus. In silence.
Get the shadow team members in here.
Unit ready.
Be ready. Without trace.
Reckoner. Reckoner on
Bring
the
them over
move.
here. It's a good way. It basically just slowly introduces you to the different units you've got available too, I'm guessing.
Our power is alive. For the Black Hand.
Unit ready.
But yeah, very, very slow moving first mission. They do expand it out into parts, which is cool. Eva, be careful, don't you let your infantry walk into Tiberium, it will hurt you.
Wheels of steel.
Hurt them. I'm guessing it triggered because these guys are being idiots walking on the tip.
A force to reckon with.
Shadows in
Okay, so these are they're the shadow teams.
Unit ready.
Shadow team.
Units.
This is the way. Shadow team. Quietly. They must
And they can plant
Shadows in
C4.
waiting. Be aware. Silence.
I believe what I want to do is use these to try and take out the turrets, and then send in the main forces.
Without trace. Shadow team. Let none stand.
Unit lost.
Rip.
Be aware.
Unit ready.
Come on.
Insufficient funds.
Shadows in
Nice.
waiting. Quietly. They must not live. Stay
I'll
balanced.
send one there, I'll send one here.
Focus. Focus.
I can plant C4 on the vehicles as well, it's kind of cool.
Lost.
Be ready.
If it survives long enough.
Unit lost.
These guys are gonna die, but it'll be alright, because then I can come in with the main force.
Lost.
Oh, that... No! Back. Don't die! Oh, that was close.
Shadows is the way. Stay balanced. The way is clear.
Right here.
Way too close.
The wings of Nod. They must not live.
Let's see if this
Keep an
works.
eye out. All right.
Be ready. This is our path.
As far as I know, these can't just shoot units. Oh, they can shoot units. Okay.
Focus. Silence.
Yeah. Sniper here is going to do a lot of the work for us.
This area
Hopefully.
He's mine. Not a problem. In my scope.
Pew.
Perfect. Let's get there. Any enemies?
Nice.
Where's our next target? I got him.
Shadows in waiting. Let
Alright.
none stand. Be aware. Put them to rest. Focus. Slay them. Stay balanced. Quietly. Without trace. Be aware. We move. Shadow team. Silence the wings of Nod. Quietly. Shadows in waiting.
Where's our next target?
Stay without trace. Shadow let none stand. Stay balanced. This is our path.
We serve the prophet. The end is near.
There we go.
Focus. Quietly.
Rally to the Brotherhood.
Objective complete.
Black hat.
Jedi forces destroyed. Take the Boxer team to the southeast. Objective complete. Mission accomplished. Nod command center. Obelisk. Obelisk, I'm coming. Without waiting for my reply, the girl walks into my room. Since the monitor is facing the opposite direction, I get to calmly hide, and I've been working on. She gathered her voluminous hair to a shaggy ponytail as if to keep them from getting in the way. Little did they know this is the flicker of the flame that brings darkness. She wears a pair of black protective goggles, non-regulation, and seemed out of place with her uniform. The only items that seemed to be relatable to the mission, she insisted, was a decorative accessory. Her outfit seemed too light, not a single piece of armor the frontline soldiers wear is on her. Her pale skin is without any scars. If she was a green young cadet, he would not have fired a single shot. I'd rather believe it was from plastic surgery or some kind of pharmaceutical miracle. Rookie. Excuse me, a commando of the Brotherhood. They call her Rookie. It's probably just an alias. We'd seen her earlier in one of the skirmishes. I don't know a lot of commando. Those I know have been during R&D cycle or equipment maintenance. They don't always show up in person, sometimes just send someone in their stead. It was after I was assigned to Commander Stromberg that I began to know Rookie. Kinda like her, and like a lot of the frontline types, she doesn't make fun of us eggheads who can't hit the broadside of the barn to save our lives. Oh, hi Rookie, I bet you came for the gun today. Indeed, today is the day. Give me a minute, I'll get it for you. Make yourself comfortable, something to drink? No thanks. I still poured her a cup of water and went back to the brightly lit laboratory. Here's the latest model particle gun. It shoots rapidly and recharges quickly. Came back from the lab holding the hefty gun carefully with both hands. Rookie took the gun. It seemed surreal that her thin arm was able to handle it even without the help from the other hand. The gun was a refit from an old one. We cleaned and polished the metal, but it still bears the scars of its previous life. The energy projector is carefully encased in a sturdy frame, but a bright glow shines through the translucent radiator when the gun is fired. A bit heavier than the old gun. With a ballistic system after all, this is a directed energy weapon. The more powerful it is, the more components there will be. When the size grows to weight, it's better if used two-handed. I think I'll be okay with one hand. Sometimes I need to do two things at once. Then I suggest that you go have a try in the shooting range. I'll send you a manual on the technique and things to watch out for. Is there a digital version? It's easier to check it up on eBay. That will work too. If you need, I can reserve an EW specific training course for you. More freedom in there. No thanks, I'm fine with my own place. Commando looked down at the gun, using on something. She found a slot at the bottom of the grip. She pressed with her finger, a tiny wafer ejected from the slot. The wafer is a colourful network of metal circuits connected to several coloured patches. Memory card? No, this is the trigger regulator. It does look like a memory card. As the name suggests, once paired with the gun within the range, it controls the trigger. You can override the safety or to disable the trigger. Smart guns can do this, but not every gun supports this feature. The commando casually tossed the wafer across. I scrambled to catch it. The pose was almost comical. Wait, this is a safety feature? I don't think so. It's a potential safety risk. There isn't anything else. I should go now. Thanks for the gun. Just as she turned to the exit, the door slowly opened. The chilled air slipped through the door. I feel a slight warm breeze. Attention, the commander is visiting this office. Obelise. Oh, you are here as well. The commander stood at attention. We both looked toward the door. Commander Stromberg came inside. She came in unannounced again. I thought it would just be the usual business. She walked towards me. Not today, though. Another figure followed her in. I do not recognize the face. Her clothing isn't the uniform from any branch that I recognize. She looked like she lived in the sewers. Her long hair doesn't go with her clothing. I was left wondering why she didn't cut her hair short or tie them into a ponytail. A dirty rag draped around her neck, her limbs too covered by fabrics, no flesh is shown except the face. To find Commander Stromberg with such a strange one is strange in itself. I smell something. Tiberium and... Commando curtly spoke before rank. I felt the unscrupulous malice, inviting an aggressive response. The stranger glanced at her temper unaroused. Or maybe you've been operated on enough times for bone fractures. Excuse me, I was just going to leave. Rookie nodded to herself as if the strange one here. Without waiting for a reply, she walked out of the room. Police, I have a scramble mission for you. Resume current work when you come back. The commander was unfazed by the commando's insolence. She went on to explain why she came here. This is our mutant gun for hire. The stranger nodded at me. A merc? What's the meaning of this? Is my loyalty in doubt? Listen, we would have gotten another commander for this mission, but she is unavailable right now. The time is short and we need a substitute double quick. But I am no commander. Even with the assistance from Eva, I am not familiar with your operations. I wanted to say why don't you go yourself, but held my tongue. We only need someone with the technical know-how to sit behind to oversee the operation. There isn't much generalship involved. Azra thinks she can take care of it herself. Your job is to man the Eva station as backup. Who? This here is Azra. Her rate is not expensive for the formidable soldier she is. At least, I am tempted to say that she might be a match for our commandos. I don't know if I can. You have but to sit in front of the console and watch. When this is over, you sign off and go home. Simple. Okay, what kind of mission requires a mutant? We have our own men to do it. You know as well as any that we have announced this with GDI. It is an open secret that both sides are dealing with the Forgotten, a fact that we are happy to keep from being officially recognized. After a long campaign that took down several of Cabal's nodes, there has been a consensus that the war against Cabal will soon reach its conclusion. It is true that the cores we took down were dummies, some of them were nevertheless nodes in its control work. So, GI destroyed a node in Ethiopia recently. We did not participate in that battle. Shadow Team reported that GDI will be able to extract intact hardware from Cabal's complex. I want the Brotherhood to reclaim this bounty before GDI could secure it. I will get important intelligence from analysing the technology. Regardless of what Cabal had, we want to deny GDI's position whenever possible. I see. You've been granted clearance for mission briefing. One more thing, you need to get it on Montauk. It's the mobile command center of the Brotherhood, a bullet train that enjoys the free reign in the Brotherhood's subterranean network. With Montauk, you can reach any corner of the world in short order. Montauk authorization protocol is completed on your EVA, effective for the duration of the mission. Double check your serial, do not take the wrong one. Montauk is highly automated. EVA will take over most of the non-essential tasks. Should you have any questions, consult with it. Good luck, you two. That will be all. Commander left the mutant and myself alone. She began to talk in a polite tone. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Commander. Hello? You can call me Obelisk. So sorry about Rookie. I'm sure she didn't mean it. She nodded. Anyway, I've studied the map in the GDI garrison force. This will be a cakewalk. Really? I'd rather get involved as little as possible. I'm terrified of surprise outside my field. So what can you do anyhow? Knives, guns, bombs, general chaos. More screams, more explosions. You can drive like a lot of your vehicles from both NOD and GDI. See, this is your personal EVA unit. It will assist you on your mission. GDI is using this specialized vehicle to transport the recovered technology from the intact Cabal facility. This mission is flagged as low profile. Involvement of the Brotherhood must remain concealed. Primary objective, recover the technology from GDI. After GDI have loaded the transportation vehicle, it will briefly stay near GDI base. It is imperative that the vehicle is hijacked before its departure. Drive it to the extraction point. The Brotherhood of Nod personnel will cover the extraction. Rules of engagement: attack at the discretion of the operative in the field. The transport must not receive heavy damage. Objective: claim Cabal's technology and return it to Commander Stromberg. Casualty projection: Nod, null. GDI, medium. Mission briefing complete. Let's move on. GDI isn't waiting for us. Roger.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by. Incoming transmission.
GDI truck's been loaded and it will stay there for a while.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Brotherhood of Nod sent Commando Azra to carry out this mission. Azra can drive most vehicles and can escape from them, but the vehicles cannot be used without a driver. When Azra hijacked the truck successfully, the Brotherhood of Nod will send a transport for her.
New objective received.
Destroy the guards of the truck and hijack the truck before it leaves. Interesting. This is like the second mission of the campaign. Again, very commando type focused. You have a clear objective, go get the truck wherever it is. Use your new weapon that they kind of plot summarized before this in the little cutscene area, so it gives some context for what's going on. Cool that they kind of given Azra her own little cameo in the cutscene type sections. It's interesting. So here's a little GDI garrison. So we can try run past it. Oh, or do that. That works. Do. Vulcan ahead, so the turrets are problematic.
Of course. They will pay for this.
Yeah, I think I'll leave this here in terms of the campaign. You can go continue it on yourselves if you're interested. But that's been the overview for Tiberian Sun and their world. So we've had a look at the skirmishes. You've seen all the settings and various options that are available in here. The key thing being that there are 6 different factions, each with their own advantages and disadvantages. There's a separate guide outside of the game you can look at. I'll link that below, showing you the exact benefits of each one of them. There is also, as we saw, the story mode. I believe we saw the initial prologue, and then of course Scarecrow. So you can check out those individual missions, see how they play, go through the plot. Apparently there's multiple endings in it as well. I'm not sure what dictates that. I suspect it's likely to be how you play out the final mission, but hard to say. As its own little mod, it's an interesting thing. So you've got like 7-8 little missions in here. Then you've got the skirmish functionality. As far as I know, I haven't tried this. The network settings for this are just for LAN, so it doesn't look like this is equipped for online multiplayer action. But if you like playing against the AI or even just the story mode and stuff like that, definitely check it out. There is a separate download you can have too, which is essentially the story mode outside of the game, so you can just go through all those cutscenes yourself. You'll see in here in the game the stories and credits section. You can go into view stories and see the ones that you previously watched. 0, 0, and 0, 1. 7's unlocked here because I tried that mission before. So you can get access to those once you watch them in game, or you can just quickly fire up a brand new single player campaign and choose where you want to start from, which is pretty nice. It's a pretty cool, well-wrapped package. But that's pretty much going to do it for this overview. Thank you all for watching very much. It's always a pleasure to go through these things, and hopefully it's helpful to some of you. Again, links will all be down below if you do wish to download the mod. But that's going to do it for me, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, folks.